how you distribute your calories throughout your day. And For a variety of reasons, I think that people end up eating most of their calories at the end of the day, at dinner time, supper time, that type of stuff, around that period of day. And For most people, I think it's, especially people that I work with, the reason being is mornings and afternoons and early afternoon. It's very hectic, right? In the morning, you're getting ready, you're getting possibly if you have kids, you're getting them ready to go off to school, and then you have to go to work, and you're working, and you have meetings, and you have work deadlines that you're dealing with, and that type of stuff. And so, your day is very busy. So, taking time to sit down to eat, and maybe not even prepare, but eat a bigger meal is, time consuming to some degree. You don't just sit down, and you can't just sit down and scarf down a whole bunch of calories in a short period of time. So it takes some time, and we get distracted, and we're busy, and we're trying to take care of all the things that we have to take care of as responsible adults. And so we make our meals during the day like small and convenient, and fast, and then we get to the end of our day and we have our bigger meal around dinner, and maybe a snack before or after. And the other reason I think that people fall into this pattern is because of the popularity around intermittent fasting and time restricted eating. That's basically promote skipping breakfast and even lunch to some degree, and consuming most of your calories towards the end of the day. And again, that not only has many quote unquote benefits around you know health and longevity and fat burning and mental clarity and all this other stuff, which may or may not be 100% true all the time in every situation. But it also fits in with our busy lifestyle, right? If we can say, oh, I'm going to intermittent fast, and not only do I get all these benefits, related to my health and wellness, but it's also super convenient because, again, just as I mentioned, we have a very busy life, and so it fits in really well to that model. It's convenient. But so there's two things that I end up seeing happen when many people adopt this, low caloric intake / zero caloric intake until the latter part of their day. And for lifestyle or people who are interested in body composition, etc., the main dictator here, whether you're going to gain or lose body fat or build muscle, is the calories that you're eating, right? To some degree, right? There's other factors as well, but that's kind of the main player. And people think, oh, I'm just gonna, I'm busy, I'm not really hungry in the morning, and etc., etc. And then all of a sudden they get to the end of their day and they're starting to prepare their dinner, and all of a sudden now their mind has time to like focus on themselves and what their body's feeling, and all of a sudden they realize they're absolutely starving, and before they can finish making dinner, they're snacking on everything and anything they can find in the pantry, in the cabinets, etc., because they haven't eaten anything the entire day, and they're absolutely ravenous. And so here comes the chips and the chocolates and the nuts and the seeds and the snack foods and all this other stuff that's quick and easy and accessible and very hyper palatable and calorically dense, because they're hangry, they need something to eat, and so now they just pile on all these calories at night, and they can end up overshooting their caloric intake in that just small window there, because it's the snacking and it's the big dinner, and they're still hungry afterwards, after dinner, so they're having a dessert, and now they're just like way overdone the calories, right? So it actually, while I think that they're getting all these benefits and maybe body composition and fat loss goals by holding off on the caloric intake until the end of the day, it actually backfires on them. And the other thing, especially from a body composition point of view, if you're interested in building muscle, what you really want to do is optimally is have multiple feedings of protein throughout the day. And if you're only having a single feeding of protein at the end of your day, or two feeding of protein at the end of your day, you're not optimizing the amount of muscle that you could possibly be building um, by doing that, right? So ideally, you want to be having 3 to 4 servings of protein, kind of spread evenly throughout the day to kind of give your body those amino acids and spike the necessary or send the signals to your muscles to build. And if you're really only doing that once or twice a day, at the end of the day, you're not getting everything you possibly can out of your body composition goals. So that's another downside to that too, especially if you're just interested in optimizing your body composition, fat loss, building muscle, that type of thing. Now, if you're an athlete, there's another problem that comes along with this. And I say athlete loosely. You don't necessarily have to be an athlete competing in a sport, but you're someone who is exercising, 4 or 5, 6 times a week. You're very active. You're pretty lean already. And you're more interested in performance in the gym and that type of stuff. While you might be getting adequate calories throughout your day, at the end of the day, right? By the end of the day, you've eaten enough calories, and that's all good. Your within day energy balance can also make a difference as well, right? And they've done studies showing that people who are active can suffer from down regulation of their metabolism and hormones, etc. Even if they're eating adequate calories, if they spend too much of their day in a caloric deficit, right? So they get up early, maybe they do go for a walk, and they come home and they get the kids ready, and then they have a little small breakfast, and they're out the door, and then midday they're at the gym, and they have a huge workout, and they haven't really eaten anything significant in the past 30 something hours 36 hours or something like that, and they put themselves in this huge caloric deficit, and then they get home and they eat a big meal and they refuel in their post-workout window and all that other stuff, and at the end of the day they may end up in a caloric balance at the end of the day, but the majority of the day they spent in a huge caloric deficit, and that's still sending a signal to your body that food is scarce for a majority of the time throughout your day, and that means that you're going to possibly experience some of the deleterious effects of being in a caloric deficit without really being in a caloric deficit. So they've done a couple studies that have looked at within day energy balance and shown that you can still suffer deleterious effects of being in a caloric deficit without necessarily being in one at the end of the day. It's kind of that within day energy balance also matters as well. So it's something else to think about. So if you're an athlete looking for performance, etc., you may also consider moving many of your more calories up front, right? So that's why I think that no matter what your goals are, that you can possibly probably benefit from eating a bit more during the day. Don't be afraid to have a bigger breakfast or have a bigger lunch, or to have squeeze in a little snack here and there to get in a little bit more calories. I'm not saying that you should be eating 5 or 6 meals a day, and you shouldn't. There shouldn't be a time where you're not eating. I think getting at least a 12-hour window where you're not eating is probably important and reasonable to do for most people. Maybe 12 to 14 hours, that type of thing. But I don't think that if you need to stretch it out longer than that, if it means that you're suffer deleterious consequences, as far as either your hormones or you end up overeating at the end of the day. So if you can eat 3 meals a day, get a 12 to 14 hour fast, eat bigger meals in the morning, and that saves you, puts you in a little bit more of a caloric balance, saves you from being as hungry in the evening. It ends up being a win all around. So I know the message that gets put out there is, breakfast is unnecessary. It's made up. It's not necessary. You can skip it, and it's also convenient to do so. But it may not be actually helping you move towards your goals at the end of the day. So, with that said, just wanted to throw that out there. Let me know what you think. If it's something you struggle with or have questions about, please, leave comments below or shoot me a direct message. As always, I'm always happy to chat about these things. And I'll point you to, once again, to my website at rgbhealth.coach. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching, there's a button right in the front page there to schedule a discovery call. You can fill out the form and we can talk more about that. Also, if you want to jump on the newsletter, which I encourage you all to do, that way you don't have to stalk me on social media to see all the content I put out. I'll deliver it directly to your inbox and 2 or 3 emails a week. You can sign up for that if you go to my webpage again at rjbhealth.coach and click the link at the top that says newsletter, enter your email address, and you can hop on that and get all this content delivered to your inbox. With that, I'll wish everyone a happy fall weekend. I'm going to enjoy my weekend too. Since last weekend I was very busy racing, this weekend, nice and relaxed weekend this weekend. And I hope you do the same. And I'll talk to you all next week.